Let me introduce myself. So I am David Apolato Jr. I am the master's program coordinator. I've been here in this program for 5.5 years. I will be joined today by three peer ambassadors in the master's program. So we'll have Hannah, Ryan, and I'm sure a little bit later, Maddie. They're just getting out of class. And then possibly a faculty member. I'm not 100% sure, but regardless, we can answer all of your questions. We'll have a short presentation and then we'll open it up for Q&A at the very end. So I'll try to do the presentation as quickly but efficiently as I can. So we have plenty of time for the questions. All right, so let me just get into that. Well, actually, Hannah, Ryan, since you're here, you guys want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah, and I'm a first semester master's student. I majored in statistics here at Berkeley before starting the program, and I'm interested in computational biology.
Wonderful introduction, Hannah. My name is Ryan. I did my undergrad at Cal State Fullerton in Southern California, and I did so in psychology. So this is a bit of a career change for me. I am interested in sports analytics or data science in education.
Awesome. All right. And yes, and they'll be available for all your questions in probably about 25 minutes when I get through this presentation. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. They will do their best while I'm talking to answer them. But then, everybody's going to jump in and answer the questions a little bit later. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. All right, here we go. So application deadline for this program is January 6th, 2026. So we got about 3 months, actually, yes, 3 months to the day to get those applications in. And we're going to go over all the details right now. So this is the agenda: introduction to the program, application insights, curriculum and elective options, financial aid and funding, career and alumni outcomes, common applicant frequently asked questions, and then the Q&A portion. All right, so introduction to the program. So the program committee is made up of myself and Professor Aditya Guntumoyina. The cohorts are generally pretty small relatively here at Berkeley. I mean, in Berkeley, you'll have 2,000 person classes. And so when you have a 65 person class, that definitely seems small to us. But we emphasize collaboration, not competition. Everybody works together on these assignments. We have two master's lounges where students can do that. And then, so yeah, in the projects, the classroom, and like I said, even space allocation. Flexible for diverse backgrounds. We're welcoming of all kind of non-traditional STEM backgrounds. We do want to make sure that you have a good background in math, in probability, but as our peer ambassador Ryan would tell you, she's a psychology major. And so we're really just making sure that you have the foundation necessary to be successful in this graduate program. You don't necessarily need to have come from statistics or math or computer science. We are giving you real world data experience. The courses include practical data analysis with real data sets from public health, tech, and government, specifically in Stat 214, which is the real world data analysis and machine learning capstone class that you take in the springtime. And there's also opportunities for that outside of the program, although this does add to your workload. But Berkeley has the Data Science Discovery Program, which allows students to work on real world projects, either here at Berkeley or with companies outside of Berkeley, which is a really nice thing to have. And then diverse career pathways. Our alumni are working basically everywhere, mainly in tech. You'll see them in finance, though, healthcare, government, and basically any other industry. Application insights. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Admissions by the numbers. So we are pretty transparent. If you've ever taken a look at the master's websites, I put them all together myself. And I really want to make sure that you guys have all the information to understand the program. And we have things like this on here as well. So we typically will see about 650 applications to the master's program. Of those 650, we will admit somewhere around 130, 135. And then of those 130 students that get admitted, about half of them decide to come. And so we'll expect about 65 student cohort in fall of 2026. Application requirements, pretty standard. Most of the programs, if not all of them at Berkeley, are going to require these. So statement of purpose, personal history statement, course description list. I do have some examples on the website of what that should look like. So make sure you're formatting that very cleanly. And if you're not sure what that should look like, there's two examples on the website. Transcripts, unofficial is okay. We just want to see the classes you've taken, the grades. You'll submit official ones if you're admitted later. 3 letters of recommendation, a GPA calculation worksheet, and TOEFL scores. So if your GPA is from an international university that does not use the 4.0 scale, don't worry about calculating your GPA, so you can skip it. The GPA calculation worksheet is really just for me administratively. When students are admitted, I have to do those calculations. And so unfortunately for you, I make you do it instead of me. So, so that's what that's for. So don't put too much pressure on yourself with that part of the application requirements. All right, so I'm going to jump into crafting your statement of purpose and your personal history statement. It's often a question I get. What are the difference between the two? What should I write in these things? So for the statement of purpose, your reasons for pursuing the master's program, specific interests in the field. So is that machine learning or biostatistics or something else? Those are just examples. And then how will Berkeley's program align with your career aspirations? Then on the other side of things, you have the personal history statement, which is challenges you've overcome, how they've shaped you, commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion. Examples of that, both past, current, future as well, are always good to write about. Life experiences that have prepared you for graduate study. This program is tough. Hannah and Ryan, they will tell you that it is tough. And so we want to make sure that you have the resources available, to make sure you're successful. You know how to get those resources. You show us that you'll be able to utilize those resources because you've been challenged before. You were able to get those resources. So like a quick example of that would be maybe in one semester you didn't get the greatest grades, but the next semester you really knocked it out the park and you killed it. So what changed about you? What commitments did you make? What resources did you utilize to help yourself in that semester? And so, yeah, writing about that really shows, your preparedness for the program. But the key difference is, the easy way to think about it for the SOP is why Berkeley and why this program, and the personal history statement is who you are and what do you bring to the table. Next thing that I want to talk about the application is crafting strong letters of recommendation. I always get the question of do I need faculty to be the ones to be my recommenders? The answer in this program, at least, is absolutely not. We want to see letters of recommendation from people who really know you. They know your growth. They know your potential for graduate study. And so oftentimes supervisors and managers, that could be much better than a professor. Unless you really worked alongside of those professors and had a lot of experience with them, supervisors can actually have really great letters. So we're also an industry-based program, meaning we're not one that generally prepares you for a PhD after this. And so we really like to see when you have industry experience and those industry letters, because that's what our program is all about. So yeah, share your resume with them, share your goals with them, include specific points you like them to emphasize, and then focus on make sure that they're focusing on your technical analytical skills, collaboration, perseverance, like I said, growth as well, and give them plenty of time. I say 3 to 4 weeks, but you could go into the application today and send off those emails. And so that way they have, a couple of months to get it done. Don't wait till the last minute, because we really do start reviewing applications right after the deadline. And if it's missing a letter, we're still going to review it. Even if you have 1-2 letters, we're still going to review your application, but you don't want it to be reviewed with something that's missing, just because it, could get you a little bit of a disadvantage. So make sure you're requesting those early. Curriculum and elective options. All right, so the program is pretty short. It's only fall, spring, and then you're done. So 6 classes are required for the program. We do have an optional summer portion. It's the summer prep program. It's a 2-week intensive brush up on mathematical and statistical foundations, as well as an additional week of computational skills workshop, which is mainly focusing on Python. The summer prep is good for 2 specific reasons. The first one being, you may just need to brush up on these skills. Maybe you've been out of school for a little bit, or maybe you just really want to make sure that you are up to speed. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is you get to meet your cohort ahead of time. You get to build relationships and friendships ahead of the classes in a really I think summer prep is pretty intense, but it's not like graded. And so it should be no stress in summer prep. And so, yeah, I really do value it for that reason, with the community aspect of it. Then you have fall. So you have, that usually starts like August 1st, summer prep. So then you have fall, which is Stat 201A, Advanced Probability, 201B, Advanced Statistics, and Stat 243, Statistical Computing. And so if you have any questions about those specific classes, we can answer them in the Q&A portion. Spring, you'll have Stat 214, Data Analysis and Machine Learning, Stat 230, which is linear models, and then an approved elective. And you can see some of the electives that are on the side. That is not a complete list by any means. There's probably 40, 50 different classes that you can take for your elective. As long as it has a statistics or data science vibe to it, then it's most likely going to be approved as an elective. And typically a graduate class. So there's a lot in public health. There's a lot in the School of Information, which I only have one of them here on the, but like a really popular one in the School of Information is another machine learning class. So we got all kinds of machine learning classes at Berkeley. So yeah, that's the program in a nutshell. So let's go ahead and continue on. I do want to just emphasize real quick. So a lot of students, are trying to go to PhDs after a master's program. I will say that this program is not designed as a direct pathway to PhD programs. The reason for that is because these classes are not providing you with like the research opportunities that PhD programs are typically looking for. Can you do this path as a master's in statistics student? Yes, you can. Hannah is one of these students that is on this path to getting a PhD. It's extra work on top of your classes. It's extra work to, get with your faculty members that you're working with to do the research, time commitments. So if you are down for that, I mean, this program, will help you in a way of like giving you guidance on yes, this is a good thesis. These are the faculty you should reach out to. But really, it is up to you to get those thesis, projects written, work with those faculty. And so we just want to make sure students know that this program isn't designed for that, but there are students that will do that every year, and it's usually about 1 to 4. And so the main goal of this program is to get you a job in an industry related company. So hopefully that answers a few questions there. I could talk more about that later. Financial aid and funding is always important, so we'll go over this pretty quickly. We are always trying to reduce costs, so we offer fee waivers and funding options. We have some fee waivers available for UC and CSU alumni. It should also say alumni and undergraduates, current undergraduates who are California residents. So if you are at a UC or CSU and you are a California resident, then you get a fee waiver automatically. Oops, sorry. We also have GSI opportunities. So sometimes you'll hear those referred to as TA opportunities, teaching assistant. I don't want to say that every master's student has this opportunity, but we do have them. And I have probably 12 to 15 master's students right now that were able to find GSI opportunities. Very, very rarely a master's student will find a GSR opportunity, which is a research role. It's not a research-based program. So number one, students aren't really looking for these to begin with, but generally these go to PhD students. But those are some options that you can do some research and look into. GSI, like I said, I have 62 students right now, and like I said, 12 to 15 of them are GSIs. So I wouldn't bank on that as being the way that you're going to fund your education, because it just might happen to where you don't get a GSI position. That's definitely possible. But we do have some other financial support. We have a good amount of scholarship opportunities in this program this year. I gave $670,000 in these types of scholarships to students. We have the Betty Scott Excellence Scholarship, which recognizes applicants contributing to diversity in STEM and public good. That one was set up specifically for students that want to work in nonprofit. And so if that is a goal of yours, if you have past experience in nonprofit and you want to continue doing that, then that could make you eligible for the Betty Scott Excellence Scholarship. And these scholarships could be anywhere from about $11,000 to a full scholarship to this program. There's also the Opportunity Award, which is given out much more frequently than the Betty Scott, but it's for students facing financial challenges, such as Pell Grant recipients, or for those with high student loan debt. There's a lot of questions on the application that are optional, such as, did you receive food stamps when you were in, or your undergrad or high school, or did you ever get like free and reduced lunches? So those questions are 100% optional. They do really help me figure out who needs this money. And so, and there's also a specific question on the application that talks about, do you need help financially with this program? And so if you do, answer those questions, answer them honestly, because that's the way that I figure all this out. For California residents, you automatically get a $5,000 scholarship to this program. So not much more to say there. And then this number should actually now be $2.7 million over the last 6 years. And then how to apply, you just write about these things I was talking about in your application. There's no need to submit any additional documentation. And then once I read your applications of those who are admitted, we'll let you know if you have financial support. If you're not given financial support in your initial offer letter, you can always reach out to me and have a conversation with me, and we'll talk about it. We want this program to be one that is accessible to everybody. The first sentence on our financial support page is, we don't want the cost of the degree to be the reason you didn't come. And so we may not be able to solve the whole problem, but we will do our best to help you solve some of it. So that's a little bit about financial support. Career and alumni outcomes. So professional development is a part of this program. There is a professional development, or it's called the professional degree supplemental tuition. It is for the professional development portion of this program. So during summer, I review all the resumes, which was a ton of work this year since we had the biggest cohort we've ever had, 62. It's a ton of resumes to review. We do professional headshots. So if you've ever looked up a master's student and you look them up on LinkedIn, they probably have a really nice headshot photo by now. That's because we did that here in the master's program. Career fairs and industry visits. So one of the things on the bottom there is B-Stars. We had a few companies come for that. We'll have some industry visits, especially in Stat 214. You'll have industry visits, resume writing, interview preparation, social media workshops, alumni networking. We had a big alumni event last month online with different alumni from different industries, which was really cool. We have a bigger event in spring with the alumni. So last year we went to Berkeley Botanical Gardens. The year before that, California Academy of Sciences. And the year before that, we went to a San Francisco Giants baseball game. But the point of those is to, one, have fun, two, network with the alumni. And so those are actually really great events. I look forward to those every year. This is a common question, just, where are students working? What is the success rate? And so you can see here that in spring 22, 23, 24, pretty good overall. Students, this is within 1 year of graduation. And this was based on exit survey results and just looking up students on LinkedIn, see if they had a job. Diverse career pathways, like I said in the beginning, data scientists, statisticians, analysts in industries such as tech, finance, healthcare, government. And then that's just from the Instagram, but that was a few of the companies that students work at. All right, so let's get into some common applicant frequently asked questions. All right, so how important is research experience? So by now, you know that the master's program is not a research-based program. So while it can still demonstrate your commitment to the field and passion for statistics and data science, it's not something we're looking for from every single student to have. It could definitely only help you, but it's not like the make or break thing about applications. Industry experience, also not required, but it is really beneficial for students to have this in this program because we're an industry-based program. So this doesn't necessarily have to be related to statistics or data science. It just has to, show that you have worked somewhere at some point because we're an industry-based program. So we like to see that. Do I need to take the GRE? No, that's the easy answer to that one. How do non-traditional STEM backgrounds fit in this program? So students from diverse fields are welcome to apply. Like I said before, you have to have strong math skills, particularly linear algebra and probability. And a statistics background isn't mandatory, but applicants should demonstrate readiness to handle the program's rigor. And so, like I said, Ryan is one of those students from a psychology background, which is not a STEM degree, but showcased that she knew strong math skills and linear algebra and probability and all that fun stuff. And she can talk more about that if you have questions. What do you need to know? Right here. So can I apply for a thesis option after admissions? Absolutely. So sometimes you start these classes and you go, what the heck? I really love statistics and I want to study it for the rest of my life. And so you can do a thesis option. You discuss that with your faculty and advisors. It happens more often than you think. What sets this program apart? I think the biggest thing when you're talking about a Master of Arts in Statistics versus a Master's in Data Science is the statistics program that we have here is a really great balance of theory and practical application. Data science programs here at Berkeley are fantastic, but they are more focused on the practical application versus the theory. And so I think that really is what sets this program apart versus other programs. Access to renowned faculty, real world projects, and interdisciplinary learning. We have faculty here in this department that work in many other departments. So we'll have some that are in public health, some that are in social sciences. So you really get a blend of all these different programs in statistics. What are the GPA requirements and how is it calculated? So the minimum GPA is 3.0. That's all the programs here at Berkeley. You need a minimum 3.0 to apply. And then what matters most is that applicants show they are adequately prepared and with relevant skills as outlined in the prerequisites. So we don't have a minimum GPA cutoff other than 3.0, which is the minimum for everybody. And there's the Instagram. So if you want to learn more, feel free to follow. And that's my presentation. I'll leave that up for 2.5 seconds. Let's go ahead and see the questions. I know they've been answering them as I've been talking, but now we'll go ahead and get into the Q&A portion. I'm going to stop sharing right now. Whew, that was a lot. Let me see here. I'm going to go down the list. And I answered Z's question. Jonathan, what's the difference between this program and the 5th year for Berkeley? Is it the same application process? Yeah, so we do have a 5th year master's program for Berkeley students who are undergrads currently. It is the same application. It's only for Berkeley students, but it's the same requirements, same everything. It's just you apply to the 5th year master's instead of the general master's program. And so the 5th year is just evaluating Berkeley students against each other. Also, I just want to mention Maddie is also here. She, had, like I said, had class, so she's a little bit late, but that's okay. Maddie, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, yes. I'm Maddie. Can you hear me? I don't know if I just froze.
I can hear you though.
Oh, wait, I'm back. Okay. Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm also a first semester student here in the MA Stat program. And yes, I just came from class, so I was running a little bit late, but I'm excited to answer any questions you guys have.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. So Jonathan, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. It's the exact same program as well. There's no differences between the classes you take as a 5th year or a general master's degree applicant. It's just Berkeley students. That's it. I'm coming from a computer science background, a couple years of experience in the industry. I don't have strong background in stats. Can I still apply? Oh, yeah. Ryan said, answer that one. Apply. 100%. 100%. So computer science is one of our top 5 most admitted degree programs. And so we have statistics, math and applied math, computer science, economics, and data science. I think that's 5. Those are the top 5. I was born and raised in California, but I spent a year in Maryland. But we'll move back for this. My family still works here. I'm not really sure about the California residency stuff. I definitely would check in with the office of the registrar. I think there's some resources about specifically that question, but I definitely don't want to give you the wrong answer, Gordon. If you just type up California resident UC Berkeley, you'll find some questions on that. Let's see here. Can I apply to multiple graduate programs in Berkeley? Yeah, Ryan answered that one. That's the common question. You got to choose one. So hopefully this week you're going to many of the department's information sessions. You're learning about them all. So that way you can figure out which one that can be. What is the significant distinction between MA versus an MS? Yeah, Ryan hit that one. I'm also not too familiar with the MEng program here at Berkeley. So I definitely would just recommend going to their session and learning more about it. MA versus MS, yeah, it's really just a historical thing. Where did the program come from? What kind of degrees were they issuing? But there is no like defined definition of a Master of Arts versus a Master of Science. Let's see here. I'm a graduate from law, LLB from Ethiopia, and looking for and still looking for the MS program in the master. So we are a program that's eligible through the MasterCard Foundation scholarship. So hopefully that answers your question. I think if you just go on the MasterCard Foundation website, you'll be able to learn more details. But we are a program that qualifies under that scholarship through Berkeley. If I receive a bad grade early in the undergrad, should I address it in the application? How can I overcome this? Oh yeah, so like I was talking about with challenges that you've overcome. Yeah, sometimes you get a C, a B, whatever it may be. Just tell us what happened. Just be honest about it. But also tell us how you grew from that, what resources you utilized to overcome that, how you knocked it out the park since that. That's totally fine. I wouldn't be too worried about it. What do students wish they'd known before starting? Oh, this question is for you guys. What do you guys wish you had known before? Ryan, would you say more probability, or what would you say?
Girl. Yeah, so I mean, I majored in psychology. So as a psych major, I didn't take like multivariate calculus. I didn't take linear algebra. So after that, and deciding I wanted to pursue my master's degree in statistics, I went back to community college and I took those classes. But I didn't take a really rigorous probability course. So that was my struggle bus. I feel a little bit better now, but that part. Like I wish over the summer I had actually like read a probability textbook and yeah.
Hannah, do you want to give your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think the probability class is tough, but there are online notes. Um, The master's chair taught this class in like 2019, and he has a website and he has a link to all of his notes. So over the summer, like Ryan said, you can look over a textbook. You could also look over his notes directly and study alongside them. I think that that has been pretty helpful. I think he also has notes from 2022. They might not be on his website, but I know they are out there as well. So if you are accepted and you want to really study probability before the semester begins, like Ryan said, the textbook is a wonderful resource, but so are like the online notes that are readily available. And yeah, in terms of like a master's thesis, if you do want to do one, like 1 year goes by quickly. So start thinking about the faculty members you would want to work with if that is your goal to do a thesis. And try to reach out to them early, like cold email them. And then you have to meet with the MA chair as well. So make sure that you have reasons why like you're qualified to do a thesis, like if you did undergraduate research, what poster presentations you might have done or talks at conferences, what like scholar programs you might be a part of. Like there's like UC Leads, NSF Camp, and other scholar programs. So be sure to mention that if you meet with him towards the beginning if you're planning on doing a thesis.
Maddie, is there anything that you wish you would have known before starting?
Yeah, I think me coming from like a little bit different of a background where I did come from a stat undergrad, one thing that I wish I knew or like had a little bit more practice specifically with is programming. And because when I was my stat undergrad, the majority of programming that I did was directly applied to whatever statistical concept we were doing in class. Less of like the inner workings of Python, what's going on under the hood, which is a lot of what our programming course in the first semester is. So the best way I think to learn programming is just by practicing. So if you have some time to carve out, do a Python tutorial online over the summer, just get that practice in, as well as the fact that we do have, along with summer prep, a computing workshop that I would really recommend everybody going to. Even if you do have Python experience, you'll understand how the teacher of this course, who remains the same over the course of the years, is going to approach it.
All right. Well, thank you for those responses. There's a second part of this question. Are there tracks or concentrations? No, there are no tracks and concentrations in this program. Although on the application, you will see to select one. It is only for data gathering purposes. Should we ever at one point decide to do concentrations, then we can kind of historically look back and see what students would have wanted to do, but there are no concentrations in this program right now. Is each application cycle per year? I applied to data science. And so, yeah, I think, Gordon, you might be referring to the online data science program with the School of Information. So you can't apply to more than one program per admissions cycle. So that means the cycles that are like starting in fall of 26, the cycles that are starting in spring of 27, whatever it may be. So my guess is that yes, you could apply to this one, but if you are like applying to their spring start, because we're a fall start. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Let's see, Linka. For students aiming for quantitative finance or analytic roles, what do the program's career focused resources look like? So a lot of our industry partners are finance companies right now. In B-Stars, I think the three students that will tell you here that there was a lot of finance companies that were there for that. So it seems like we have a really good connection with finance. However, this program isn't like designed specifically for quantitative finance roles. There is the Masters of Financial Engineering. Personally, I think this program gives you a lot more opportunities should you not want to do quantitative finance one day. It gives you opportunities to pivot, but we will have plenty of students become quantitative financial engineers, analysts, things like that, that are working at all the finance companies. It's just not like our alumni are more spread out than just that. You'll find most of our alumni in tech, to be honest with you. Yeah, other than B-Stars and the IAP, which is the Industry Alliance program, being mainly made up of finance companies, I think Berkeley itself just has a lot of resources and career fairs for that as well. There's is the Masters and PhD career fair tomorrow, I think. So that's virtually, and I think I think you'll have a good time finding something for you. I want to
Thank
make sure
you.
you know that. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Does this program accept students pursuing a second master's degree? So Berkeley has a duplication of degree policy, meaning you can't get two degrees in the same field. So biology and informatics, my guess is it's probably different enough to where you would be able to get a master's in statistics. But if it was like a master's in computer science or data science, we'd have to really make a strong case for why it's different enough. My guess is biology is different enough. So the next question is, I am currently deciding between PhD or master's program. So I was wondering if you could touch more on research opportunities in the program. From your description of GSR, yep. Is it more likely to get a research assistant if you have previous experience as a research assistant, or does it? Oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, with a GSR, I in the 5.5 years that I have been here, it just happened this year where a faculty member sent out something specifically for master's students, which was extremely rare because this master's program is not a research-based program. It is not designed for that. And so it was nice that happened, but that's the first time it happened in my 5.5 years. So I wouldn't come in counting on that. I wouldn't come in, thinking that you're going to find a faculty member. The faculty member are, they're funding their PhD students first. And if, I guess if they had anything left over, they might be able to take on a master's student, but I have not seen it in my time here in this program. So it's just not what our program is designed for. Ryan hit it on the head with that one. Jonathan, let's see here. You mentioned Berkeley undergrad applies slightly different portal compared to what are looking for in a Berkeley undergrad applicant then? Yeah, Hannah, you're in the 5th year program. You want to talk a little bit about that? We've had one cohort of 5th years. Hannah's part of the inaugural cohort, and she can talk about what they're looking for.
Yeah, because I haven't gotten like internships because I'm like more research focused. I did talk more about my research experience, like that I was like a UC lead scholar and an NSF camp scholar, like the conference poster presentations I've done, and the research that I hope to continue to do in my application. If you're more industry focused, I'm sure that you could highlight like any internships you've had, and your career prospects and aspirations in like biotech or big tech. If you are thinking about doing research, if you're currently in a research lab, you could mention that in your application. Like I mentioned my current research labs, the kind of research I've done, and that I'm interested in continuing that research as a master's student. So you could do that. If you're not currently in a research lab, I think like reaching out to faculty now, like cold emailing them to see if you could get involved earlier rather than later would be helpful because 1 year isn't a lot of time. It would be ideal if like you could start working on a project now in the fall, like during spring, over the summer, so that you have more time to develop your thesis idea and start like the data processing, like really understanding the intricacies of your project and what your PI or your thesis committee want you to do during that project. So definitely start sooner rather than later. Research does take a long time and data processing can take a while too, especially if you're working with big data on Savio. So if you are doing research, get started sooner rather than later and start reaching out to people as soon as you can.
Yeah, I will say this when we're reviewing applications, when the faculty is reviewing applications. If you are about like all about PhD after this program, it's at the end of the day, this program is not going to admit an entire cohort of that type of student, right? Because it's just not the type of program that we are. And so if we are admitting a cohort of all PhD students afterwards, that's we've done a disservice to you as a student because it's not the type of program that we are. So I would just be careful, if you do say I want to go into a PhD program, talk about after that. Maybe you do have industry goals rather than teaching goals, which could better align with the nature of this program. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you think about what type of student is this program looking for. And I think Hannah is looking for kind of industry stuff after as well. So hopefully that answers that. If I got a direct message here, if I am connected with professors at Berkeley, would I be able to GSI for them? Yeah, it's a hard question to just. I could never say just yeah, sure, why not? But if they have a GSI position and they really want you, I don't see why not. I've had professors reach out to me with requests of certain GSIs. The way GSI positions work here in statistics is we have to make sure that the PhD students are, have their positions because they are guaranteed funding in the PhD programs. And, sometimes that is through being a GSI. And so once we figure all that out and make sure all the PhD students are good, then we look at the master students, see what positions are available, and then hire, based on your ability to be a GSI for that class. But there are, more master students that are going to apply than GSI positions available at the end of the day. All right. Well, we got through all the questions in the chat. Does anybody else have any additional questions for the ambassadors, for me? All right. Well, while we wait for any other questions, I'm going to put Maddie on the spotlight. Maddie, do you want to tell them a little bit about what peer ambassadors do in the master's program?
Yeah, sure. So, a couple things like that are, obvious since we're all here is that we're going to attend all the info sessions. We're going to be here to answer your questions and give you a student perspective to those questions. And then one thing that's really cool about the Peer Ambassadors program is that we get the opportunity to go to conferences on behalf of Berkeley. And so there, like, for example, I went to Tapia 2025 and our program had a booth there at the career fair. And so we basically go primarily for being behind the booth, being the person that's going to answer the questions that people that come up to our booth have, but also we get to actually experience the conference ourselves as well, and we get to leave the booth, do the career fair ourselves, go to some of the events that are happening at the conferences, and so as a peer ambassador you get more of a not automatic slot, but you can talk with David, figure out what conferences you want to go to, figure out how that's going to work with your schedule. And a lot of students want to go to these conferences, but don't like have the ability to. But we kind of have an opening if we want it. So like, that's a big one. And then also it's a great, way to exercise leadership and communication, all great things to have on a resume, especially when it comes to when you're applying for the corporate world or the, careers afterwards. And so it's definitely a great, extracurricular to have as well.
Yeah, so it's something I started this fall, and I asked students to sign up for this, and so eight wonderful ladies signed up for it, and yeah, it is it's all about just kind of spreading the knowledge of what we do in this program, but also I want it to be 100% like for them as well, in terms of their professional development and going to conferences and networking, and so yes, I say if you can help me on the side, great, but I really want it to be for you, and so it has been fantastic to have them there at all the conferences, and hopefully they've enjoyed it as much as I have. So I do have a couple of other questions. Let's see here. How many applicants are there for the fifth year program, if you can share? Well, I don't know. It's only October 6th. And so there's, not everybody started their applications yet. It's hard for me to guess how many there will be. The fifth year is this is the first real like full admission cycle for the fifth year. If I had to guess, maybe 50 or 60 applicants is my guess, but who knows? I don't, we'll know in January. How do you see application process for international students with economically disadvantaged but academically outstanding to study in Berkeley? Do you see the application process for international students with economically disadvantaged but academically outstanding to study in Berkeley? Yeah, I mean, I just want to make sure I understood the question. I if yeah, I feel like anybody should apply to this program. The scholarships, aside from the California residency one, are for anybody. And so, I definitely would recommend applying, if you're admitted and see what the funding opportunities are. And, like I said, if you are admitted and you're not offered any funding at that time, I've asked so many students over the years to just meet with me. Let's have a conversation. Usually I'll make them write some type of essay that explains their financial need. A lot of times it's interesting. People won't fill out that question about financial need because they'll think if I tell them I need money, then they won't admit me, which is absolutely not true. Like I was telling you, it's the only way that I know who needs this aid and who doesn't. And so the three ambassadors here could probably tell you that they know that if you come and talk to me, this is it only helps you at the end of the day. And so, yeah, the saying is a closed mouth doesn't get fed, right? So definitely come and talk to me about these things. Yeah, I think the ambassadors got that one answered, Sophia. All right, so we got through all the questions again. Anybody else? We have about 10 minutes before we wrap it up. Anybody else got any final questions? Anything you want to know? Something on your mind? Feel free to ask. We're here to answer them. All right. Well, maybe we can just wrap it up early. So I appreciate you guys coming to this session, learning about the Master of Arts in Statistics program. Oh, there's a question. Hold on. Let's go ahead and answer this one. What's one piece of advice you have for applicants, for the students? Not, I'll be quiet. What students? What one piece of advice?
I can go first real quick. One main piece of advice that I think David touched on a little bit already, is connect with your letters of rec like early. And if they're professors, make an appointment just to talk about, like advice for the application process or, just to kind of pick their brain on like the application process itself. And then, speak with them about that and then ask for the letter of rec and continue meeting with them. So just like cultivate those relationships early and ask for those letters early. They will really go a long way.
definitely think about like why this program, like what you can add to it, what it can do for you, like how you can add to the cohort and the diversity within it. Like maybe you're really interested in data science and something very specific in data science. You can talk about that. Say like, oh, like I really love this. I can bring this insight into the cohort. And I'm very open to exploring like other fields. And I've seen that alumni go on to do this. I see that people in the cohort in the past have done this, and I'm interested in learning about that too. And so, how you can add to the wonderful cohort in the program and what you can learn from this particular cohort as well.
I 100% agree with Hannah. Like she took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say like know your why and know your reason. Like why do you want to do this program specifically and like what do you want to get out of it? Know who you are like as a person and what you bring, know your story. I think that's important. And you can really translate that in your statement of purpose and your personal statement too.
All right. I know you didn't ask me, but I'm going to jump in and give you one piece of advice. So we have the peer ambassadors. 3 of them are here. There are actually 8 in total. I'm going to put it in the chat, the link to the website for these guys. Feel free to click on their photos, reach out to them, add them on LinkedIn. My advice is to get advice from them because they're here. They know, they've talked to me plenty to know what type of applicants we're looking for. So yeah, utilize them as resources, connect with them. That's what they're for. That's what they're here for. All right. Okay, I think we can wrap it up unless a question comes flying in last minute. All right, so thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. If you need anything at any point, I have an open calendar for anybody to meet with me at any time. You just find my photo on the website, you click on it, schedule an appointment, and yeah, I'll meet with you and answer whatever it is you want me to answer, talk to you about whatever it is you want to talk about. So again, I appreciate you guys attending. Hopefully you learned a lot, and see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.